Hello, welcome by the third episode of the course. And in today's class, I like to look at the direction of the impulses that we have to correct. And maybe you have that sometimes. I have it all the time that I like to correct. And what is the course that I follow there? And a very interesting point that came to my mind is that, like, okay, so I look at things and then I judge them right or wrong, but the course that I want to follow is actually not one that is outwardly, it is outwardly, but in a complete different way. And often we look at spirituality and finding the peace within yourself. And I just did a video about, finding the peace and the meditation of that idea within you. That's great to reach God, and who created the creator is a great question to ask. And to find that within meditation is an absolute must. But the course that I see now that I'm following is not a course of I would almost say like truth. Because I see something and I want to adjust it there, what is not the cause of it. And this is all very theoretically, I'm sorry about that, but it's, adjusting it there. But then I came across chapter 5, and it's an amazing chapter. If you haven't read it yet, please do. And it talks about teaching. And when I was looking at the course that I'm following, the course that that I'm following and fulfill, it is really not really in how Jesus it expresses to us. Jesus says very clearly in several places in the course, it says you have to put a goal, because how would you ever know if you reach the goal if you don't have a goal? And this goes in exactly the same way. And this is great because we're adapted with judgment all the time. Now we walk around as judgments machines here. And the great thing is that, like, self-assessment might be very helpful for once, where I'm gonna look at, okay, what is dear to me, on a very basic level. And what is very dear to me, you could say, like, relationships are very dear to me, and especially intimate relationships are very dear to me. Great, fantastic. That is very objective, and, like, looking at it, fantastic, great. But let me judge that, not in what I get and what I should give and all of that stuff, but let me do an honest assessment of how I'm actually doing. In other words, let's put a number on it. Are you willing to do that? A number from 0 to 10. That's amazing. It's amazing. It's not even coming from myself. 0 to 10. How do you judge yourself in relationship to your relationships? Where 0 is like you have no intimate relationships, and 10 is that you are performing, judging by your own standards, not by someone else, as the absolute, ultimate, perfect relationship. And this is not just one romantic, but it's like relationships. How do you perform within the idea of relationships? Which course do you follow? What can I get? What can that one give me to me? And how can I bond and make other contacts and get no? So just judge yourself for a moment on how you're doing. And I tell you, this is a completely different approach, which tremendously appreciate. Because now, when I look at my personal life, so I look at my intimate relationships, and I have to judge myself anywhere between 0 and 10. And again, it's not something that I came up with, and then I go to the actual number that I give myself, and I would say I'm probably anywhere, a little bit depending on who it is we're talking about, which relationship we're talking about. But I would say that I do anywhere between a 3 and a 5 from a scale from 0 to 10. Well, if you ask me what is the most important thing in your life, then I would probably say, after the obvious, relationships. Because in relationships, everything comes up. Everything. You can use them. So Jesus says in chapter 5, teaching by example. Above all, teach by example. So when I look at my relationships and how I deal with them and what I give and if I have to judge that, and I'm doing a 3 till 5, let's just go with the lowest one. Let's just bring back in mind that relationship, that intimate relationship that I have. And I say that one is a 3. I perform a 3. How sad is that? I mean, like, I can just constantly look at others and try to, give circumstances the blame for that it is only a 3. But what would be better is when I step back and see where can I improve. Look, we're not even asking, and this is not teaching time, my dear friend. We're not even asking for the top row as yet. We're just asking for progress, for growth, for extension. That's exactly what Jesus says. Teaching is healing. And if my teaching is not kind of anywhere measured by the healing that comes from it, then it's 0. So the demonstration being the example of the teaching. And when I look at my intimate relationships and I say some of them are 3, 4, 5, but definitely not a 10, then it is to me to see which course of destruction I'm actually driving. And maybe it's time to shift course, to shift lanes, to accelerate, to really go and take the teaching of A Course in Miracles and see, where have I not been giving? Where am I being okay with mediocre at its best? I mean, like a 5, maybe you cannot even call it mediocre. It's like way underperforming. And that will bring a motivation. Not so much that you have to be feeling sad about yourself, but can I borrow this word? Empowered to do something about it. To be really loving and caring and interested and helpful and healing. Because let's be honest, why would you really go into any relationship except with the goal to heal? And maybe that's the reason why we judge ourselves as underperforming in relationships, because we see that we undergo this dramatic idea of judgment of ourselves in a relationship just to see where we can grow and where we can heal. And not coming from a point of complete destruction, of a course going into the depth of, how do you say that? Going off a cliff, I'm sorry. That's a different idea. Going off a cliff. Huh? So the course that we follow is the course of self-responsibility, self-judgment, and self-adjustment. So we're going to adjust the way that we walk this path, the course that we took, and see, is this really helpful? Is this really demonstration of love and care and understanding and joy? Because joy is always coming from expansion. And when I don't expand, when I don't go out there and give, how how truly, excuse my language, but how truly rotten is my life? And the cliffhanger of all of this is, of course, that it's not self-centered, but it is really putting the self at the center, and then see that we're trying to expect something, but we don't want to do the work for it. And you can nobody blame for that except for yourself. And then you see, people start to say things like, you're not the how do we say that? You're not a victim. You're a volunteer. I mean, like, it's a great idea. Thank you so much, Tony. Let's take literally. I volunteer to perform at 3 till 5. I volunteer for that. I'm not a victim. I volunteered for that. And then I see that the places where I don't give, I get performances like that. And it doesn't really matter why or what, because I tell you this, when a relationship doesn't work or has fulfilled its function, it's not mutually beneficial to learn, then it will disappear. And it's just a little shift in the mind. Not that it's necessary, but it will be corrected, because something that is not meant will disappear. And things that are meant, in other words, there's still growth possible. I can go from a 3 to a 5, and from a 5 to a 10. It is absolutely possible. And I have to find the course that I'm running to see, oh yeah, this is the course that I'm doing. And then understand that nothing will change until I change. And what are the rewards? What are the rewards that we're looking for? You will see that those are very close connected to very general ideas. Like, for example, I want to be in peace. And I tell you, an intimate and close relationship with someone that you judge yourself a 3 or a 5, there's probably not too much peace in there. I mean, like, you can be okay with it, but it will always nag somewhere in your mind that there's so much more available. So the course that we follow can be changed. And it is up to me to see where I am, how do you call that? Where I'm really taking enough with way too little. I'm settling for a 3 or a 5. But it is not so much that you deserve more. It is that I deserve a way higher number. Because within me is still all the power and everything available to become that 10. To be that 10. To lead by example. To say, you know what? I completely misunderstood this exercise. I went off in a course in a direction that is so completely different than what I actually want. And I went off on that route as if I was a train on a railroad. But now suddenly I see it can be, and I can give. Because by giving is sharing, and sharing brings joy. You cannot really be joyful if you don't want to share. And the real thing that you can share are ideas, because with ideas you confirm them in yourself by giving them away. It makes it stronger. And then again, which course am I following? And the results that I get is a 3 to a 5. But if I share thoughts of love and caring, of beauty, of understanding, of true connection, that just came in. And then suddenly there's a shift happening. And do I need a reminder? Absolutely. Maybe in the next, I don't know how long of a time I have to say, but in the next week maybe it's good to judge every day. Hey, how am I doing? And am I following the course that I really, really want to follow? Or can I improve? Can I improve in my performance to be the kind of guy that I want to be? And we not try to make something that is not there. We try to find something that is there, but that I did not feel like to put the energy in. Can you feel it? No, I don't want to put the work in to get what I want. And that's perfectly fine too. But then, you cannot really blame the situation or anybody else. That you're only a 3 to a 5 on your own scale from 0 to 10. What can I do? One of the things that I can do is to start listening. Start to teach by healing. And what else is more healing than to hear all this positive stuff? Because in many, many different what do you call them? It's gone. All those different teachings and different approaches and different studies and different fields you find in psychology coming back that for every one negative experience you need 5 positive. And here I am in a 3 to 5 relationship. Oh, that sounds weird. Let's just stick with 3. Where I want to improve. And I can see that I can really start to give the love that is still in me. And to let go all those negative points. Because I have to work way harder for the positive than for the negative. But the results are also way higher when I look at the positives. One of the positive things is that you are here with me and that I love you and that nothing can shake that. I can forget and I can try to correct you, but that doesn't make our relationship better. What makes our relationship better is to see all the good that is right here in front of me. All the fantastic things and all the places where I can serve and help and join and give. That will transform. That will make everything different. That is what I really want. So the course that I'm going to follow in the next week is the self-assessment and see what I'm doing to improve where I'm coming from and what I want. What do I really want? I want to thank you here for being here with me. It was great to do this one more time. And let's see where the course brings us. Thank you so much. God bless. See you soon again. Amen. Amen.